Good morning, Casey Keller. Casey's a regular viewer of our show. Good morning. Welcome to Live at 7:55 for this Tuesday, January 9th. Of course, it's Tuesday, and that means it is DJ Industry Secrets Day with Chris Romero. Good morning, Rockstar. How are you, Chris?
Morning, Mitch. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Carlos. Thanks for being here. And today's DJ Industry Secret, Chris, is...
Yes, is about discounting. Are you discounting your way to the bottom, or are you increasing your value to the top? And my final comment is to stop racing to the bottom. Yeah.
So, go ahead, Chris. Hit us with your thoughts on this real quick.
Yeah. So I think there's many philosophies to making a sale. And one, unfortunately, that I think many of us tend to default to is to discounting our services. And I'm not talking about like doing something for a close friend or a family member or anything like that. I'm talking about, when you're in the heat of the moment, trying to make a sale. And how many of you do this? You either get bargained down on your price or you get scared that you're not going to get the sale. And so you divert to, okay, I'll do it for this price, which is lower than your asking price that you would normally sell for.
You should never lower your price unless you have a solid reason for doing it. And there has to be a solid reason, because every time you lower your price, you give up profit.
Right. And I'm of the philosophy that I want to be one of the most valuable companies in our market, which naturally and organically leads to a higher price point for your services. Why? Because I think we're bringing more to the table than our competition, and it's more valuable. And when something is more valuable, well, it's worth more.
And the other thing on valuable, I think, is not just value from a dollar perspective, but value from a dare I say it, a worth perspective.
Right. I know. I was being careful with that term there, but
it's all good. But the reality is, if you can provide more for a client and charge more for the service too, don't just throw it in. Don't just throw in uplighting for no reason. It's like we had a client just recently, and we offered our services for their wedding, and they said, well, we want to look at maybe, adding on this. I'm like, yes, no problem. And it's going to be an additional X to add it on. Don't just say, oh, well, I guess, it's not that much. I'll just throw it in. Why?
Right.
Why? This gets in the whole topic of overtime too, I guess.
Well, and I think, we can kind of conclude with what are the things that create value, in our industry. I think there's a lot of different things. You're talking what we're talking about there with the uplighting. I think options that you offer definitely create value. So, uplighting, maybe you offer snow now, maybe a photo booth, things like that. That definitely creates more value, for your company.
And it's not just the things you bring to the table. Also, in last night's planning meeting, I'm having a conversation with the groom, and we meet with our couples 6 months out, typically 5 to 6 months out for their first planning meeting, which some people look at me like I have 3 heads because I do that. Why would you start your planning that far in advance? That's way too early. I look at it as that we're also offering event planning. We're helping the client design their timeline to create their day, to maximize the time they have with their family and friends. And so by walking them through, okay, then what? Okay, then what? Your experience is valuable.
Absolutely.
What you can bring to the table for knowledge to help them avoid pitfalls is valuable.
Yes. That's what I was going to say with us. Exactly that. I think that for us, couples value the overall experience. Exactly that with Cutmaster Music, from customer service to the talent, actually being in the moment on the decks, being able to mix, beat match, bring in whatever, that whole thing, locking in on a dance floor. all of that creates value for your company. And if you do it at a high level and at quality, it becomes more valuable.
Absolutely. It's so important to realize everything you bring to the table and don't shortcut yourself.
Right.
Don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short, and make sure you are targeting toward those couples that highly value what you bring to the table.
Absolutely. That's a key thing.
You don't have to discount.
Target marketing, and that's another whole different conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
Today's all about.
Yeah, that's kind of the follow-up to this, is figuring out where you're at, stay in there, stick to your guns, and then target that market, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, realize everything you do, write it all out. What do you do? What do you bring to the table? I had somebody just recently message me and want to get, well, Mitch, what do you say? It's like, I'm not going to give you a whole flipping scripted thing of what to say, because your company is going to be different than my company.
Right.
But there's a process you should follow and lay out what you offer.
Yep. You got to figure out what you do well. And that comes with the price. You have to figure out where that is, and all markets are different. So, but I think we're all aiming for the top. Shoot for the top. Get to the top of your market and create the most value. In your market. That's what we're trying to do. I want to be the most valuable company, not the most expensive per se, but I want to bring the most value to the table.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to look at it. You want to be the most valuable to the client, the MVP, if you will, the most valuable person to her event.
Absolutely.
That's what you're shooting for. So don't discount, increase your value, become the most valuable person for the event. Thank you so much today, Chris. I greatly appreciate your DJ industry secret for today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me once again.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys got some good nuggets out of today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about something that really irked me and how respect is a two-way street. We'll have a conversation tomorrow about that. So tune in for Live at 75 tomorrow. I got a really long day today, so hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week for DJ Industry Secret. For Live at 75, your daily motivational kickstart. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.